Okay. Anybody else coming forward? The last chance? Okay. I call this meeting to order at 4:45. This is just an acknowledgement of the meeting status that we read every meeting about, the Zoom and in person. Members of the public may directly address the board by attending in-person meetings and submitting a public comment card. The board will not take public comment through the online platform and does not guarantee online streaming should that platform malfunction for any reason. Members of the public are encouraged to share their thoughts and concerns with our board president, Maddie Cloud at mcloud@petk12.org if they're not able to attend in person. So we have comments from the public on closed session items, which I know you're all aware of. And so we have 6, but we always read the board president language on public comment. Usually we do it later because we don't usually have public comment for closed session. So for today, I'm going to read it just so that you guys are aware of everything. And then we'll proceed. You'll each have the full 3 minutes. We don't have to divide it up. Okay. Under Government Code Section 54954.3A, members of the public have the right to address the governing board on any items of interest, providing it relates to the subject matter jurisdiction of the school district. While Government Code allows speakers to criticize the district's policies, procedures, programs, services, and/or employees, the district does have a specific policy, Board Policy 1312.1, specific to complaints against employees. If the comment is about something that is not on the agenda, it will be heard only during the public comment on non-agendized items, period. Once that part of the meeting is over, comments will only be taken on agenda items during the discussion of those items. The board values public comments, and although we cannot take action or discuss items not on the agenda, we listen carefully and appreciate input from the public. Public comments are subject to a 3-minute per person limit or a 20-minute limit per subject matter. Commenters may not cede their time to others. Additionally, a public speaker can be cut off for exceeding the allotted time or for willfully causing an actual disruption to the meeting and preventing the board from completing the business of the district. Before cutting a person off or removing someone, the board will give at least one clear warning. If you were cut off or warned last time, please consider that your warning. You can also submit your input by writing, by email, or other means to the superintendent, board members, or other designated staff members. All right, let us begin. Marquita Lee. Oh, yeah, sure. I don't know how it keeps going to the top. Okay, Hazel Cassis Evans and Kaylin Dralich.
Is really loving and kind, and she's like a really good principal, and she helps us when we're in need, and overall she's an amazing.
Wanted to hear you on.
Should I start over? Principal Hale is really kind and loving. She helps us when we're in need, and Grant's really lucky to have her as our principal. She's just overall a really good principal. He stands up for us when I want her to be our principal again because she's very a very kind person, and I just love her.
Thank you so much. That was the best public comment I've heard in years. Kim Bauman. Sorry.
know. It happens. All right. So I think I can read it without my glasses. My font is so big. This is not AI. This comes from here. And if I could just ask you guys to also listen from here. My name's Kim Bauman. I've been an educator for about 32 years. In the last 20 plus years, I've had the privilege and the honor to teach at Grant Elementary School. Grant has always been a very, very special place. I actually applied for a job at Grant School with the hope that my own two daughters would be lucky enough to attend Grant School because we lived out of the area. And they were lucky. It has a very long-held reputation for high achievement and for academic rigor, very involved parents, and of course, a stellar staff. As a staff, we have endured many stormy seas. We've had more principals than I care to remember. Some were stronger than others. Some were more committed than others. Some left quickly. Others wanted to stay, but were involuntarily transferred to another school. For all of these years, there seems to have been an assumption that our staff could remain afloat, that we could steer the ship on our own. And now we are tired of sailing without direction. Excuse all the sailing analogies. There is not one employee at Grant School, to my knowledge, certificated or classified, that does not want Amy Hale to sail our ship. She has literally been a breath of fresh air. No principal, in my opinion, has been such a dedicated and natural shamrock. She completely fit into our culture, and no one could work any harder. During the last 7 months, she was the ideal captain to our ship, and yet she has been put through the ringer. Did she jump overboard? Did she abandon ship? No. In fact, she showed up to open house, praised us for our amazing work, greeted us with bagels the next morning. Who does that? This is a story that illustrates Amy Hale's true character. I fear that this decision will not be good for our school. Why would we onboard someone new when we were already thriving? I am sure that the new hire is a delightful person, but she does not have the proven experience that Amy now holds. She's from a small charter school with a staff of 6 teachers, multi-age classrooms, and around 100 students. Her school has declining enrollment and declining test scores. But here we are. We have spent hours now giving you feedback, writing you
We have
letters,
30 seconds.
What?
30
Really?
seconds, yes.
Shoot, attending meetings, and we still don't feel heard. I'm going to skip. Sadly, this process and this decision is having a ripple effect because we do not feel valued anymore. We feel discounted, we feel disregarded, we don't feel trust with you, and we don't feel that our students and our families are the first priority. So I'm standing before you tonight, and I'm just imploring the district cabinet and school board to please review the fidelity of the interview process and to consider the candidate with the most proven experience and to do what's right for our community, families, and teachers. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Kim King.
I have to admit, it's felt rather difficult to communicate between the school board, the district office. I've learned a lot the past few weeks about the system and your role as a board. I hope that there's some reflection from the district office and the board on the major pitfalls that have occurred during this year and in this process. Big missteps like miscommunication to the public about sabbatical leave and not defining leadership roles and responsibility during that leave, down to the small things like not including a meeting location for a community input event prior to the principal hire or sending out an expired Zoom link for our community town hall. In all honesty, these actions make it feel like you ask for our input, but don't really want to hear it. And ultimately, we saw the consequence of that when a new principal that seems quite far from what the community voiced was selected. We may disagree on that, but please reflect and be honest about the missteps that were taken. I don't know how much opportunity there is to discuss this evening within the board before certifying this hire, but I urge you to ask the district office how much vetting was done on this new principal compared to Amy, who has been there for 7 months. Was the new hire's direct supervisor at her previous 2 schools contacted? How much of her Waldorf background will be incorporated into Grant? Was she asked about declining test scores and enrollment at her 2 previous schools? These are serious questions because the number one thing the Grant community asked for was stability. Please do your due diligence so we are not back here next year. If you do end up certifying the candidate, I'll ask for a commitment. This hire feels foreign and not suited for Grant, so we will need your help. I'm requesting that every board member from each district, not just our own, visits our campus monthly. Come to drop off and make sure our new principal is there welcoming each student by name, standing up at lunch and engaging with our students, leading them in a best assembly. Please check in on the Grant community and this new relationship that will have to be built. Maybe if there was more of your presence this past year, you could have seen how positive it had been at Grant. And if the board decides to question the suitability of the hire, I'll commend you because I know that's not an easy decision. But I do believe it's the right decision. Community input was ignored. This is not the right candidate for Grant. You have the opportunity to open the position again and consider the input of the community. It's a brave decision, but you've been placed in your seat by the same community that is reaching out to you to hear our voice.
Thank you. Ray Ford.
Thank you. I also, of course, I'm here to support Principal Hale. You've all heard the reasons why our staff, our parents, our students all want you to do your jobs and oversee the staff of the district and do not accept the recommendation to hire this new principal from outside the district. Part of the system, this is part of the system. The system is not just the district staff recommends something and you rubber stamp it. Your job as elected officials is to listen to the community, parents, teachers, voters, citizens, and make the right decision. And right now, frankly, because of how poorly this process is let out, you don't have much credibility. Mr. Sutter spoke at our town hall and said he didn't know why the newspapers reported that Superintendent Harris was on an unpaid leave, even though it's still up on your website on the superintendent's page. It's still there. And you sent out a press release. It's Google it. It's on Education Matters websites. It's all over the place. It was publicized everywhere. That's why we think he was out on unpaid leave. Ms. Cloud, you contend that you don't know how many emails you got for and against this situation. That is either dereliction of duty, because as a representative of the community, you should be counting those. You should be judging where the community lies on this issue. How many for, how many against. If you didn't do that, you're not doing your job. If you did do that and you just refuse to say that you didn't count, you're lying to us. So you guys have a lot of work to do to earn back the trust and credibility with this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah Staff. Sarah.
Good evening. Thank you for having us tonight. Exactly 1 year ago today, well, basically 12 months ago, we were begging and pleading and sending emails and going to meetings with Jason Sutter and showing up and being present and begging not to hire the interim principal. And the district did it anyway. We felt completely unheard. There was petitions. We were told not to circulate the petitions. We were told to take the petitions down. And it's so silly to have to make a petition to be heard. And that's how unheard we felt. We felt like it was a slap in the face when we were so clear that an overwhelming majority of our community wanted the decision to go a different way. I'm wondering if any or all of you previously knew that Ms. Mack was unemployed essentially for next year. In March, her school was posting that they were hiring a new principal. for the upcoming school year. So I want to know why she wasn't employed there next year and whose decision that was. Grant's been dealing with bullying issues, especially in the 6th grade. I'm not sure if all the other schools are dealing with that in 6th grade, but the school that she used to be in charge of only had 6 students. So, I mean, there's so many complexities that you need to learn with experience, and having 6 students in an entire 6th grade is not in any way going to be applicable to the issues that she'll be facing at Grant. Myself and others have been trying to meet up with coffee, have a phone chat, get a response email with every board member. And I know that multiple of the board members here have not responded to any of your stakeholders. That's pretty crummy, and in no way does that promote the trust that Luann stated in the email that was sent out Friday evening, that they want to rebuild the trust with Grant. And simply ignoring your constituents, since I know I personally been sending emails since November, and I know many other people in our community have been, and to receive 0 response, what's the point? What is the point of meeting with Jason Sutter and going to these meetings when we feel so unheard again? It breaks my heart to see the teachers distraught about having to retrain another principal again, over and over again. Like, we already put so much on our teachers' shoulders, and then they also have 2 brand new office staff. So the beginning of the year is just going to be really challenging, and it's not fair to put more and more and more on the teachers' shoulders. The fact that Matthew Harris made this monumental decision while never stepping foot on the campus is ludicrous. Countless times he told the public he was unpaid, when that's categorically false. How are we supposed to trust anything going forward? I know that you support the superintendent
30
in most of the
seconds.
decisions, as you should. Like, that's the point of the board. You're not supposed to make every decision yourself. But at some point, you need to trust your staff, but at some point you need to listen to us. We're begging you. We felt so unheard a year ago, and again, it feels like a slap in the face. I think it really needs, the decision needs to be reconsidered. We no longer have a trusted person in the district, and that's unfortunate.
Thank you. Now, Marquita.
I'm going to adjust this. Okay. All right. Hello again, cabinet and board members. My name is Marquita, surprise, and I am a Petaluma resident and a grandparent. Again, you've seen me before. I acknowledge that decision-making is an imperfect process. That being said, per the California School Boards Association website, I quote, "The role of the school board is to ensure that school districts are responsive to the values, beliefs, and priorities of the communities." Another great quote that I saw was, "To fulfill these responsibilities, boards must have maximum autonomy and flexibility," end quote. We understand the belief that many of you have that not ratifying the superintendent's recommendation for Grant's principal today would give the public the impression that you do not have confidence in Mr. Harris. I'm here to say that given our community's experience with the interim principal these last 7 months, my exasperating experience as a member of the hiring committee for this said position, and Mr. Harris's absence from our community due to his status as a 0.2 FTE, we do not think you would be demonstrating a vote of no confidence. You would instead be demonstrating the role the CSBA has explicitly stated, to be responsive to the values, beliefs, and priorities of our community. I think our community is reasonable and willing to collaborate and wholeheartedly understand that a reconsideration of the process may not lead to a different outcome. But I think that given some of the information that has been shared with you all, provides an opportunity to truly pause, listen, and then respond to our community. Our teachers and staff estimate a total, and this is not to call out ages or anything, but they total a total of 440 years of experience. So let's say we take that in half, because we can't assume everyone obviously supports our interim principal. That's 220 years of experience. Let's say you look at the number at our town halls. You're very gracious and held 2 town halls for us and saw the outcome, the outpouring of support, not only in person, but also on Zoom in our second session that Amanda and Tony stayed at. There's people here, there's children here, there's students as well. It's hard not to go hard for Amy Hale, but I want you to hear us going hard for taking a pause to truly get all the information you have yet to be given to make a truly informed decision. Thank you.
Thank you all. I know that this is very emotional for everybody, and we really do appreciate that. We're going to adjourn to closed session. We'll be back at 6 o'clock. You're welcome to stay. You can leave and come back, whatever you'd like. We will have the decision at that time.